Hey everyone, welcome to the fourth episode of our Needle Devlog. Needle is all about creating high-quality interactive web experiences, and with this format here, we're trying to give you better insights into what's going on at Needle with Needle Engine and Needle Cloud, what features and fixes have landed, and what's coming next. So let's dive into this week's update. We just released Needle Engine 4.3.2. And there's a couple of interesting things that I want to go through that we added in this release. So there's some good changes in terms of documentation. So a lot of you probably know that we have Gizmos in Needle Engine, which are super nice. Like this is a sample scene that is only drawing gizmos. These are often used for debugging or for showing things. And we added documentation for all the Gizmo methods that we have. So how does that look like? For example, here we have some code that draws gizmos. And now if we hover over one of these methods, we get all the parameters, everything that you can put into them, and also autocomplete for when you start writing gizmos, you can see everything that's available. So, and that's of course nice while you're working in the code. We have all of that documented as well in our API documentation that you can always find via our docs page. And then if you go to reference and Needle Engine API, you're ending up in our API docs for the latest version. So, and if we're going to the Gizmos page here, then we can see that all of these, like drawing lines and so on, now have nice documentation, which is exactly what you get in code as autocomplete. We also added a couple of changes in terms of FPS, so that you have more ways of accessing what frame rate is your application currently running at. We already had that for like a smooth FPS counter, which is often what you need. Now there's also a current frame per second counter. We also removed some very old things, like for example, we don't support Node 16 anymore now. There's also performance improvements. We had some issues where on specific platforms, in specific circumstances, post-processing was relatively slow performance-wise. And we figured out that this is because of multi-sampling in post-processing being handled different between platforms. So now we have an auto property there that basically disables multi-sampling when we think it should be turned off. And that means that scenes that make heavy use of post-processing, like this one, which uses depth of field and color grading and everything else, now work better across various systems on platforms. We also keep improving our load times. So we're always trying to load things more efficiently and at the same time so that the overall load time to show a scene is smaller. And in this release, we made some improvements to how that works for environment images so that these can be loaded basically in parallel to your 3D content so that everything is ready at the same time. And we can look at an example of that in our trusted sandbox. We can look at a performance profile of how loading looks. So I go in the Chrome console, then on the performance tab, and if I refresh the page here, then we get Chrome profiling all the loading times and drawing us nice diagrams for that. And here we can see this is basically what Needle is doing while loading, that we're only getting the initial document. And from then, a lot of things happen in parallel in like a tightly packed way. And that ultimately means the overall page loads faster. So here we're at like 500 milliseconds, something like that, for the first paint, which is basically everything is loaded, the 3D is here, and users are ready to interact with your page. There have been a couple of fixes in a similar area. For example, we found that in specific cases, asking a server what kind of type a file has was also causing, for example, Chrome to re-download some files that it doesn't have to. And we fixed that as well. So I can show you as well how that looks. And for this, we can use the network tab here. So often when we test something, we're disabling the cache here, which means that the browser does not use its own cache. We're only getting new downloads. And if we refresh the page, we see, okay, everything loads. We get a lot of nice CDN hits here, which basically means these files come from a server close to us and not from something in the opposite end of the world. And now if we turn the cache back on, which is what a browser does by default, and we refresh the page, then we see that almost everything here comes from either the memory cache or the disk cache, which means load times are even faster. You see that's like just snapping in. Because all the data is already there, everything is correctly cached and super fast. We're shaving off a couple more milliseconds on total page load time, which we're always trying to improve and get better at. We also fixed a couple of issues in relation to large scenes. So all of you keep building larger and larger scenes with more and more objects. And so we improved some areas around what happens if you load and unload a lot of files dynamically at runtime. There was one case where there was a memory leak that we now fixed. And also instancing, which we're doing automatically, like we're automatically instancing similar objects together, had a problem when you're doing that really, really fast. So very quickly creating and deleting objects. And that's fixed as well. So instancing is better than ever before, basically. And I have an example for that as well. So we have a nice BBR asset, this hand statue on Needle Cloud here. And we can pull that in an application. For example, this is a Needle engine running on StackBlitz. We have this hand here, and this is an instancing scene. So of course we have a lot of these hands. And previously, while loading that, we added an artificial delay here for loading. While loading that, there may have been cases where some parts of the hand were missing or so. And so now that's all fixed, and we can build proper massive scenes with many of the same object, basically. The last point that I want to talk about is that we were able to remove a component, which is always cool if we can make it easier for you to build scenes and we can reduce complexity a bit. And in this case, we were able to remove the Needle Engine modules component. Oh, and I can show you how that looked before. Like previously, we had this component here, which you can use to choose how physics works in Needle Engine. Like auto basically checks, does the scene have any physics components, and then decides to include all the code for physics, which is usually relatively big. And none allows you to completely turn that off. So, and good thing is we're now detecting that automatically at runtime. So this component is not necessary anymore. And it's all applications basically smartly check, do we need to load this big physics bundle or do we just not need it? Oh, and that makes it easier for you. It makes all the apps a little bit smaller and faster, which is always good. The rest of the things here are mostly fixes for changes in Unity's behavior. Like in Unity 6, we had to adjust a couple of things on how they work. For example, in Unity 6, we had to adjust a couple of things to make sure all the different needle windows work nicely and so on. So also a recurrent issue that we hopefully have fixed now for good is errors with the NPM cache when generating fonts. So a lot of you have 3D text in your scenes, and we are generating font textures for that at build time. And sometimes this NPM cache for some reason can get corrupted. So we have added measures to detect when that has happened and work around it and so on, so that hopefully your fonts should be good again. And also a quality of life change that we're showing this update dialog in Unity when there's a new Needle Engine release, for example, 4.3.2 that we're talking about right now. And now we're not showing the dialog anymore when you are on a stable version. We're not going to show you the dialog anymore to update to a pre-release like a beta version or so. So no more accidental updates to slightly less stable versions. That's it for this update. If you have any feedback or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. And a big thank you to everyone who actively comments when we post these videos, because your feedback is very valuable for us and we keep adjusting things to give you more information in a better way. So keep sharing your wishes and suggestions and let us know which things from the dev videos you like the most. We are excited to hear about that. Of course, you can also find a written version of the changelog on the releases page. As always, link is in the description. And if you don't want to miss any future updates, please hit the subscribe button and see you in the next video.